Hello everyone! With 2022 coming around the corner, I wanted to take this time to talk about something new I want to do for the beginning of the year. The first half of the year, we always dedicate ourselves to an RPG of some sort. It allows me to experience some of my favorite games from the genre, and as of late, allow me to experience games I have never played before. This was the case for both of the Lunar games as well as Xenogears. Now for 2022, I'd like to give y'all the chance to vote for the game or games that we play for the start of the year. Now these games, except for the final one we'll talk about, all have a unique common trait. These are all games that got me into their respective series. These games have a special place in my heart, and I would love to bring you into their worlds as well as my relationships with them. And that brings us to the point of this video. I wanted to showcase gameplay from these games on the list, as well as explain a bit about the games in general. So without further ado, let's get this list started with Wild Arms 2. I cannot think of a more unique series of RPGs than the Wild Arms series. While Final Fantasy and the Tales series focus on their fantasy settings, Wild Arms went with a Wild West theme. My introduction to the series was actually the second game of 5. If you've never played a Wild Arms game, they're quite unique. The prologue is separated into 3 different chapters focused on the 3 main characters of the game. You can select between Ashley, a member of a town's militia, Lilka, a mage in training, and Brad, an escaped convict on the run from the law. Once you select your character, you experience their backstory prior to the main events of the game. Once you finish all 3 prologues, you then get to experience how the trio run into each other to form the main party. I've honestly never really seen a system like this in any other RPGs of the time, and it's such a fantastic way to toss folks into the world of Filgaia. Something unique to the Wild Arms series is the tools system. Each character can have 3 tools to utilize for puzzles and exploration in the dungeons. This adds an element of depth to engage the player instead of just walking around throughout the dungeon looking for that next boss fight. The battle system uses the FP system, or force points, in lieu of traditional MP. FP is equivalent to your character's current level, and when you attack or get attacked, you gain FP. Once you acquire a certain amount, you're then able to use your tech. For Ashley and Brad, you get to use their guns, or in Lilka's case, her magic. It's really cool that when you use these abilities, you do not lose FP like you would in a traditional game with magic points. From a unique world, battle system, as well as cast of characters, this was the game that hooked me on Wild Arms. Star Ocean till the end of time. Wow, what a way to get into the Star Ocean series. While most folks will say that Star Ocean 2 is the best, I continue to come back to Till the End of Time. If I enjoyed Wild Arms for its Wild West setting, then Star Ocean sold me on the sci-fi setting alone. We follow the story of Fate Liangod as he attempts to find his family and childhood friend Sophia after being separated due to an unprovoked attack by the Vendini civilization on Hydra 4. He will travel to underdeveloped planets and eventually is joined by Cliff and his assistant Mirage. The story has a lot of anime tropes to it, but that's honestly half the fun for me. Unlike most RPGs that have the characters transversing around a full-on world map, the characters go from fields to towns to dungeons, giving the world a very vast, interconnected feeling. The battle system is an action combat system where you can fully move around the battlefield, but you will snap back to the enemy you are attacking. Very similar to a Tales game, you can input a specific combination of buttons to utilize a special skill that can drain MP. There is also a unique gauge to the game known as the Fury gauge. Each attack uses a bit of Fury, and once you run out, you will not be able to attack again until it is replenished. You can also utilize the Fury Guard if you stand still while having 100% Fury. Being hit with a minor attack will negate all damage, but getting hit with Symbology or a heavy attack will stun you and completely break your guard. battles are fresh and engaging, and it's always fun to chain battles together to build up the battle gauge in order to get massive XP bonuses. There's a lot to do and see with this stunning game, and it always calls me back every time. I really do feel like this game was most folks' introduction to the Tales series by Namco. While the series came stateside with the PlayStation releases of Tales of Destiny and Tales of Eternia, I honestly never heard of the series till Nintendo Power started to hype the hell out of Tales of Symphonia. So of course, when the game launched, I went to my local Blockbuster to rent this title, and damn, I was hooked from the start. We follow Lloyd Irving and Good Boy Ginnis as they accompany their friend and the chosen one, Colette Brunel, as she embarks on a quest to replenish the world of Silverant with mana. With most of the Tales series, you can take part in observing cute little skits between the characters to get more backstory or honestly just fun-filled interactions between the party members. The battle system uses the multi-lane linear motion battle system, a first for the series, in which all characters are able to move and interact at the same time. The linear aspect is that you'll always be tied to the plane of movement, with the selected enemy to move towards and away from. This is a system that fans of the series are well familiar with, and it is a system that is easy to use, but hard to master. At the end of each fight, you will be graded based on your performance, so you are encouraged to perform well for a better score. With a killer battle system and a unique world of characters, there is much to see and do for all who start this title. We've all had that dream of exploring the world and possibly discovering something that has never been seen before. I think that's why I honestly gravitate towards Skies of Arcadia so much, but you really do get that same sense of wonder and discovery as you play through Grandia. We take control of Justin, a young adventurer from the town of Parm who wants to follow in his father's footsteps and see the world. Even though civilization insists that the end of the world, a large stone wall that cuts the continent of Lindsay in two, is all there is, Justin doesn't believe that. Through many twists and turns, we soon find ourselves opposing the Garal military. The battle system is quite unique and in many ways is an evolution of the battle system found in their earlier title, Lunar and Lunar 2. With those games, when you attacked with a melee move, your characters would automatically move across the battlefield and either attack or stop moving if they weren't close enough. In Grandia, your characters move in real time. All of this is based on the phenomenal Initiative Point Gauge, or IP gauge. This gauge shows not only the playable characters, but also the enemies you face in battle. When the character's icon hits a certain point on the gauge, this is when you can issue commands. However, depending on the command you give, will determine how long it takes before that character acts. A combo attack will activate quickly, but a powerful spell or move will take longer to charge up. Taking hits will delay the gauge from moving, and landing a critical strike can flat out cancel actions, further pushing them back on the gauge. I will always continue to say that Grandia has one of the best battle systems in the 90s era of JRPGs. From the beautiful world to the stellar battle system, if you enjoyed watching me play through Lunar and Eternal Blue, you'll have a blast traveling through Grandia. Let's be real here. If you pick Final Fantasy VIII, all we're gonna do is play Triple Triad for 5 months straight. Honestly, I joke, but come on, it's fucking Triple Triad. Seriously, Final Fantasy VIII will always have a soft spot in my heart. While I will always say that Final Fantasy VI is the best in the series, Final Fantasy VIII will always be my favorite. I know that this game is considered the black sheep of the series, but damn, do I love it! This was my first experience into the world of Final Fantasy proper. While I may have watched my best friend play through 6, 7, and 9, this was the first one that I actually owned. If you've never played Final Fantasy VIII, we take on the role of Squall Leonhardt, a brooding, edgy, emo teen who is a mercenary in training at Balam Garden. After passing his seed exam, Squall and party journey out to liberate Timber from the Galbadia army. However, what was meant to be a simple liberation mission turns into an adventure through time and space. I absolutely love the world of Final Fantasy VIII, from the locations you visit as well as the characters you meet throughout the game. But I also love the junction system of this game. The summons in this title are your guardian forces, and you can also level them up. By leveling them up, you gain the ability to junction magic to your stats for a boost. Not only are you able to give your stats a boost, you can also junction magic into your attacks if you wish. There's a lot to see and discover with this system, and there's also a lot of fun ways to absurdly break this game thanks to junctioning. Now, the one issue with this game, and I will fully admit this, is the drawing system in which you acquire magic as well as certain guardian forces. Using the draw command, you take magic from the enemy and stock it for later use. You can also draw from your enemy and immediately cast the spell. That means if you wanted to, you could stock up to a max of 100 of the particular magic, but once you run out, you'll need to stock all over again. Not to mention, the magic isn't shared between parties. Whoever you stock and junction with one character, you have to do the exact same thing for the rest of your party members. I'll admit, it's a quirk, but I still think it's a rather unique system. Rather, if you've played this one before, or if this is your first time seeing this, I honestly think there's a little bit of something for everyone in my favorite Final Fantasy title. Oh lord. Well, this is the odd one of the group, and I'll explain why in just a bit. So, what exactly is Battle Network? Well, this is a Mega Man RPG. There are town maps, dungeons, and an overworld of sorts as you dive into the net. You take control of Megaman.exe, a net navi of Lan Hikari. This world is an alternate dimension to the main Mega Man series in which Dr. Light focused on networks instead of robotics. The result is a more wide web than what we currently have today. People use their PETs, or personal terminals, with their navis, AI programs that can interface with the net to handle all aspects of life. Lan is a normal elementary school kid, but in true anime style, he gets roped into the life as a hero as he saves the day from the evil WWW, or World 3 Syndicate, headed by the evil Dr. Waiwei. The battle system is quite engaging and unique, with battles taking place on a 6x3 grid for both Mega Man and the viruses he faces. You select battle chips to send to Mega Man that will allow him to use these programs to fight viruses. At the start of each turn, you could potentially select up to 5 chips. As you battle viruses, you have a chance to acquire more chips to add to your folder. The folder is completely customizable with a max of 30 chips. There is something truly satisfying about making the perfect deck that fits your playstyle, or customizing your deck to ensure you have the right strengths against your opponents. Now for the real reason why this is an oddity. This is a real test of tenacity and sanity, because this will combine Battle Network 1 through 6 in one big ass mix-up. By using Brosenja's BizHawk Shuffler, we will be randomly switching between the games in set intervals, with the overall goal of trying to at least finish one game from the series. It's going to be chaotic, insane, and challenging, but it is an adventure I am excited to take. And that's honestly going to be it. I hope you'll have an awesome idea of what to expect from each of these games, and I look forward to seeing what y'all vote for. This is going to be a fun start to 2022, and I am ready to share this journey with you.